episode of the Zach Perry Show. And today we are talking football, Eagles football. I want to start this episode by saying when this team is rolling and everything is working and they're not making mistakes, I feel they could beat anybody. They have the talent to beat any team in the league. And now we go into Dallas to face a struggling yet hated division rival. And since this is Dallas week, I had to bring in the reinforcements. So today we're speaking with my good friend Malcolm Hill, who is a sports expert, especially when it comes to Philly sports. He's one of the best writers I know. And you all get to hear my opinions all the time. You know I'm super optimistic about this team, so I thought it'd be good to ask him some questions, and we'll just jump right into it. So, before I ask about this week's game, I want to ask about Doug. Do you feel bad about him at all? I feel like he's out of a job there soon.
I don't really feel bad for him. I think he'll get picked up by somebody one way or the other. I mean, he's a Super Bowl winner, and I think most people are, have kind of given up on Trevor Lawrence as far as him ever being elite. So I don't think Doug is going to be blamed for that. So I think
Okay.
I think he'll bounce back somewhere for sure.
Okay, cool. So you think Doug's going to get another job?
Maybe not right away. I could see him maybe taking a few years off, going into broadcasting or whatever. He might not. I mean, it's up to him. He doesn't strike me as like a football junkie the way that like Andy Reid was. It is, for example, like you remember even when he was with us and he had all kinds of crazy stuff going on off the field and he like didn't take any time off at all. So Doug
Crazy.
Peterson does not
People don't
strike me
remember.
as that.
Andy Reid had some crazy shit go down when he was here.
Yeah, yeah. His
Crazy.
kids were his kids were wild, and it's wild
Yeah.
because they're a bunch of Mormons. But his one kid was like running that one drug ring in North
hmm
Philly, and and then obviously the other, and then that same one is the one that passed away, I believe too, right?
Yeah, I remember there's some crazy shit where one of his sons got out of the car with a gun and was driving around. I mean, people need to. I mean, if you want to look into that shit, I mean, people should do some
It's a,
researching
yeah,
on Andy Reid when he was here. It is crazy. The fact that he
it's an
went on
interesting
coaching
story,
after that
no
is
doubt.
crazy.
Didn't take a game off,
Never.
so
Motherfucker's professional.
because he's
Uh,
insane. But yeah,
if you had to choose, now you look at where Doug is now, you look at where Sirianni's now. If you had to pick, you could have either 2017 Doug Peterson or 2022 Nick Sirianni run your team. Who are you going with?
uh, I think you got to say Doug just because he won. And while the 2017 Eagles, I think, were more talented top to bottom, I think the version we have now is much more talented offensively. And I think Sirianni gets a lot less out of his talent than Peterson got out of his. So
Mm.
I have to think that I think if Doug was with this team, maybe we'd, who knows? It's always got to be a perfect storm, but because the players do love Sirianni as much as us, the fans, get on him.
hmm
The players seem to love him because he's always got their back. Even when he says dumb stuff in the media, I think a lot of times he does that on purpose just to kind of like fall on the sword and just
Yeah.
take the blame so no one else has to. So I think, for better or worse, the locker room does love Sirianni, but I think Peterson's a better coach.
Okay. Okay. So let's jump into the Cowboys game here. And I'm feeling we might be due for a loss, honestly. I think we're much better than the Cowboys, but we've been winning, and I don't know, the Cowboys kind of need this as a division game. We're in Dallas. I've been optimistic, but I'm thinking we might be due for a loss here. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
We better not lose. We already got two losses. We ain't undefeated. We ain't due for no loss. I mean, and this team, with the way the team collapsed last year, I think all the moral victories and all that. I think we've got all of that already under our belt. So hell no. You ain't. You know, Washington's already a game, or what? They're a half a game ahead of us, so we can't really afford to lose the game either. So no, if we lose, it would be a huge problem for the team and for my week going forward.
So you think the Eagles are hitting a stride, or you think it's just the teams they're playing? You think we found something here?
I don't think you can say we're hitting a stride yet. I mean, I don't think all the teams we're playing are ass necessarily. We have played a couple bad teams, obviously with like the Browns and the Giants, but it's the NFL. So you play you play who's on your schedule. Anybody can beat you any week, but I can't say that they're hitting their stride yet because we still do too many boneheaded things. And I say we, but it really seems to be the coach in particular, the head coach, and some of his decision making. Because the offense looks on point. I think they finally figured out giving Saquon the ball is like the baseline of the offense. But I mean, he left 9 points on the board last week against Jacksonville. That game was way more stressful than it needed to be. Should have been a 2 touchdown game. We went by 5 points. So I think maybe when the coaching kind of starts hitting their stride, I can say that the team is hitting a stride, but not yet.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the worst coach game. Probably the worst coach, maybe the worst coach game of the season. Even though we won, I was not
Yeah,
happy with the way that game ended last week at all. Do
it
you
was crazy.
think? Yeah, it was too much, and like it was just a dick swinging contest. Sirianni trying to like outduel Peterson and like going it for two every time and going it for fourth. I mean, it was just not a good coach game. Not he did not do a good job coaching that game. But how are you feeling about our coordinators? Like Fangio, I kind of like so far. Kellen Moore, I can't really decide yet if I like him or not. How are you feeling about our coordinators?
I feel like they're both starting to come around. Um, it's going to take teams like a little bit to adjust to new coordinators because it's a whole new regime and philosophy. So I think they're pretty much on schedule with how they're starting to play better. And the defense in particular has looked pretty great over the last month.
Yeah,
And the offense is just, you never know like who's really in charge of it as far as Kellen Moore versus Nick Sirianni. So
yeah.
I feel like I would like our offense more if it felt like Kellen Moore was a little bit more in charge. But I mean, when you have 3rd and 3, I mean, we've had like 2nd and 3 and run 3 straight tush pushes.
Yeah.
Like I have to think that's Nick Sirianni.
Think so?
I have to think that's
What do you
Sirianni.
think? What are your thoughts on that play in general? I don't. I know. I might be in the minority. I don't love that play.
I kind of hate seeing us run it 2, 3 times in a row. Um,
Yeah.
like when we get to 3rd and 1, we're gonna run that play 2 straight times, and I hate that because
Yeah.
it's too predictable, and the team is not getting enough reps like practicing other things. So I think it's a very lazy play call, and to me, I feel like that play has sort of become synonymous with Nick Sirianni, and I think that's why it gets called so much because it's Sirianni being like, "See, like my way works, my philosophy works,"
Oh yeah.
and it's really I don't hate Sirianni as much as I used to hate Chip Kelly because I still think we can win with Sirianni.
Mm.
But it's a similar level of like arrogance and like you said earlier, like the dick swinging contest. It's definitely a lot of that. He's arguing with fans. He's like listening to the comments from Eagles fans, and I get that our fans are insane and are probably saying some crazy shit to him. But
Yeah.
like, bro,
My thing with Sirianni is like, I don't know what I think. There's something that he has about football. He has some kind of football knowledge that translates, but like, there's something about his personality and his emotions that really gets. It's just really childish sometimes. I think he has something really good, and like, some reason why he's constantly winning, but like his emotions, I think, get in his way. He's just a little. His behavior's a little fucking
and he's
crazy.
got a good ass team. He's got a good team, so
Yeah,
he's he's got
our team is
he's got the
stacked.
players. Yeah, he's got the players to win. Um, But I don't know. He's just. I mean, he knows football. He wouldn't have the job if he was like actually completely clueless. But to your point, he gets a little too emotional, and it affects his decision making so much that it's like,
Yeah, like
all
some
right,
of
what
the
do we do?
I've seen him like yell at Hurt sometimes, and I'm like, dude, like that's just not a. I don't know, like some of the shit he does on the side, I'm like, bro, that's just not head coach. Like you just gotta.
I don't care about the yelling that hurts, but like, why are you going back and forth with the fans?
Yeah.
Like it's your own fans.
See, I
And
was thinking that game that the fan was probably said something about like fucking his wife or something.
you think so?
Yeah.
I
Just
mean,
straight up.
I'm not saying they couldn't have said that, but I feel like it's more along the lines of like, you're a fucking moron. You don't know shit. I could coach this team better than you. Like stuff like that, which is
Yeah.
also ridiculous. I mean, if they're telling them I'm gonna fuck your wife because we're doing too many tush pushes.
Yeah, I could see it being some shit like that. Like that's what I thought at first, but I did read a post. I don't know if it was real or not, but I read a post from the person that was supposedly in the interaction, and they detailed the conversation with Sirianni, and it seemed kind
Okay.
of light. It didn't. It was like they were yelling at each other, but what they were saying was basically about running the ball. So
Yeah,
it seems.
that's what I'm thinking. Okay, that that feels a little bit more like Jesus. Like I hope it's not what you're saying because that would be.
Yeah, that's what I. That was my first thought, though. I was like, man, it's Philly. They're probably saying some real nasty shit to him. But
I mean, if he was the opposing coach, then I could maybe see that. I don't think we're gonna say that to our coach.
yeah, well, I don't know. There's some people that
It's still,
hate that dude.
yeah, but they still want him to win.
That's true. That's true. What are your thoughts on Gainwell? I'm really liking what I see from him this year, and like sometimes he has flashes like this, and then isn't as good later on. But he seems to really be growing. You think we can count on him in the postseason?
Oh, absolutely. He's in the perfect role. All he has to do is spell Saquon and get all the leftover touches. No,
Yeah,
he's been great.
yeah, he's been having a good little
For
season.
sure.
Is Gardner Johnson as good this year as last time we had him? I was wondering if you saw that interception with the Bengals. It kind of blew my mind. I still don't know what to make of that interception.
Well, that was Isaiah Rogers that made that play. Gardner Johnson was kind of just there, but
It's just like
that play was
I couldn't really see it. Like what happened? The ball like fell into his lap or some shit.
Isaiah Rogers tipped it,
Oh,
like
okay.
tips it to him. So it was a great play by him. Gardner Johnson, man, I get what he brings to the table as far as emotions, but he's such an idiot. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna make. I feel like he's gonna
You
lose
feel
us a
like he's gonna
game, an
what?
important game at some point. I feel like he's gonna lose us an important game at some point this year
Mm.
with his
Mm.
stupidity. Um,
Yeah.
he's. I think the last time we had him, obviously he's not being as productive as he was then. But I mean, it's a different team. He's supposed to be like the vet in the secondary now
Yeah.
because we got some young dogs in our secondary.
I'm liking it. But what are you thinking about that? You feel good about the future of our secondary? I'm feeling real confident in
I
these guys.
feel great.
Quinyon
I
Mitchell
feel
looks
great
really
about that.
fucking good. Yeah.
Quinyon Mitchell, he looks like a shutdown corner already. You barely even hear his name throughout the game because they don't really test him. And then DeJean's making all the plays he needs to make. You still got Ed Reed, Blankenship flying around out there, and yeah, no, they look great. And then Gardner Johnson is there to clean up anything else. So they look good. The linebackers look good. I think the two guys that aren't getting enough credit on our defense are Jalen Carter and um, and Jordan Davis because
Okay.
they're allowing everybody to play well because of how they clog up the middle. Like the reason our linebackers look so good and they're free to make all the plays that they're making is because the D tackles are like dominating basically every play. So those are the two unsung heroes of our defense, in my opinion, so far this year. But they look good, man.
Hell yeah. It's good to hear
Both,
you
both
mention Jordan Davis. I don't hear Jordan Davis mentioned ever.
yeah, because the role he's in, you're not really going to hear his name. Like, he's not going to be the dude actually getting sacks. He's not even going to be the one making tackles a lot of times. But he's demanding two bodies on him pretty much every play. Jalen Carter definitely demands two bodies on him every play. I mean, he's a freak of nature. He's kind of in a class of his own. But I think Carter does a good job of just taking up space and freeing up lanes for like his teammates to make plays. Because you hear Zach Bone and Kobe Dean's name like every other play, but it's
Yeah.
because they have lanes to make those plays. That starts with the D line, but in particular the two defensive tackles.
Hell yeah. What do you think about our use of Saquon? You think it's too much? It's not enough? You think it's just right?
Perfect. It's
Perfect.
perfect. I would like to see us. We're so bad at running screen passes, and I feel
Mm,
like Saquon would be so good as a running back catching a screen pass.
that's
So I would
fucking
like
true.
I
Man,
would
we
like
don't.
to see them figure that out, but because those are just like automatic touches for him, and their catches, they're not handoffs, so it just keeps the defense honest, and it keeps the quarterback under less pressure because the defense can't just blitz them with reckless abandon because they might get hit with a screen. But we're so bad at running screens.
We're
It's,
so
it's
fucking
insane.
bad at it, man. It's one of my least favorite plays we run. And you're so right, man. We don't ever run screens to Saquon. Like
Yep.
that should be money all day.
Yep.
I didn't think of that. It's a really good fucking point.
And we
You
have
mentioned
athletic enough. We got athletic enough offensive linemen to do it too.
that's fucking true. I mean, he could eat all day. Just get him the ball on the little screen. I mean, fuck. I hate the man. Devonte Smith is so good. It hurts me to see him in this. Like, I just think it's wasting him. Like, I know sometimes they try to get him the ball on the screen, and sometimes it does work. He is fast, but it's like I really hate when we run screens to Devonte. I'd rather if you're gonna run a screen to
Yeah.
Devonte, just chuck the ball to him downfield.
Or if there's any receiver that you run a screen for, it should be Jahad Dotson. Like,
Mm,
don't
yeah,
don't run one of your two big money guys on that because they can get hurt, and that's just
yeah,
not how I'd rather get them the ball.
yeah. He gets killed on those
Or
plays.
split Saquon out wide and run him a wide receiver screen like that.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Mhm.
You mentioned N'Kobe Dean earlier. You thinking he's growing? You thinking he's in the right place at the
I
right
think
time? Getting a little lucky? What do you think of him?
I mean, he's staying healthy. That's all. His big thing has always been getting hurt. I mean, he's clearly growing because they cut what's his name, Devin White,
Yeah.
who was like supposed to come in here and be the starting middle linebacker, and he
Yeah.
never even saw the field. So
How about that?
he's he's definitely playing well. He's seems like he's finally figuring it out. Game slowing down for him, all that.
Hell yeah. We were talking about Andy Reid earlier. You think there's any chance at all for an Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl rematch?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah.
Chiefs are still undefeated, right?
I don't know how they do it every fucking year, dude. They look incredible. Patrick Mahomes is the greatest.
And it's their defense is good this year too.
Yeah. When their defense is good, it's just over.
Yeah, I think they're still undefeated. So yeah, it could be them. I
What
don't
do you
I
think?
don't see who else would really come out of the AFC. I don't think the Bills can beat the Chiefs. Definitely don't think the Steelers can. Maybe the Ravens. Lamar could do it.
Would you fire that coach for the Bill? The Bills situation is so weird because it's kind of like what we had with the Eagles back in the day. It's like they're so fucking good and then they just can't make it every year. Like, do you get rid of that guy or you just stick it out with him?
Who's their coach?
The dude from Philly. His last name starts with the M. It's fucking me. I got a brain fog right now. McDermott or not McDermott? Fucking
Oh, Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott.
yeah, McDermott. Yeah, McDermott.
Okay. No, I wouldn't fire him yet. They still only one team can win, man.
Yeah,
You know,
I feel like if it was here, they'd fire him though. If that was Philly, they'd probably fire him.
maybe, or New York or New England or something.
What are you thinking about
Philly,
Jaden Daniels, man? I'm really I'm a little worried about this dude. He looks really fucking good. Is he the real deal? And how
he
long can
looks,
Washington keep this up?
he looks good, man. Uh, you know, it's so funny because Washington's like the one division team that I don't hate that much, just because they
Mm.
weren't, they were just like never that good,
Yeah,
and
irrelevant.
they're not hateable like the Cowboys are.
Mm.
Um, so I'm happy for him. I'm always glad to see a young black quarterback doing this thing. It's funny. There's a lot of black quarterbacks in the NFL now. It's I feel like it's almost half and half at this point.
Yeah, shit's
But
changing fast.
he he looks good, man. I don't see why they wouldn't keep it up. I still think we are going to catch them and win the division, but they definitely look good.
Yeah, I have to admit, I've been a little
That's the game
fascinated
I'm
with
looking forward
them.
to. I mean, I feel like this upcoming Cowboys game is kind of a trap game for us,
Yeah.
because there's like this impending division showdown.
Hmm.
But got it. I think our goal should be to go undefeated in our division. I think.
Yeah. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I think one of these next two games, I think we're about to lose one. It's either gonna be the Cowboys or the Command. If we win both of these games, I'm feeling a whole other way about the Eagles. But I think we're due for a loss in one of these next two games. I just feel like it has to happen.
I hear what you're saying. Um, Definitely hear what you're saying. If we go 2-0 over these next two, I feel a lot more confident about this team for sure.
Oh yeah. You have any?
As an Eagles fan, I think you caution yourself and say we're going to definitely lose one of them just because it's the Eagles.
Yeah. I don't know. I try to be real with this, man. I'm like, I said my prediction at the beginning of the year was that the Eagles are going to get to at least the NFC Championship game. I think they'll get there. And I think Jalen Hurts will be in the MVP conversation. But I mean, when I think they're gonna, I've said they're gonna win most of these weeks, but I don't know. I try to be honest when I really think in these next two
If
games,
if Hurts
probably
is
gonna happen.
playing to the MVP level, then we should win the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
The team around him is too good for us to not go to the Super Bowl if he's playing that well.
It's all about Hurts, man. Fucking the
But
last you got any other teams in the NFC you fear?
none that I would say I fear, but I think Detroit is the team to beat. I think you have to say Detroit's the team to beat. And then I don't know. I feel like San Francisco pretty much fell off at this point.
Yeah, crazy.
But I guess Detroit. But that's it, man. The only scary teams are Kansas City and Baltimore, in my opinion.
Okay. How do you feel about we're a little off topic from the Eagles, but still Philly sports. How did you feel having the Dodgers parade right outside your window?
It was cool. It was more people than I expected. It was a legitimate parade, I guess. I still don't think it was quite numbers wise what the '08 Phillies parade was because that was just like madness.
Yeah, that was
Um,
fun. That was a good time, man.
Even if you compare that to like when the Eagles won in 2017, as far as just the parades, the Phillies parade was much wilder than the Eagles parade was, in my opinion.
That was
Just from
that
like,
was just a lifetime memory, man.
because like the Eagles parade, the city was much more prepared for it. You know what I'm saying? Like they had certain streets blocked off. They had whereas when the Phillies won, down Center City was just kind of taken over for a few days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Like when the
yeah.
Eagles parade was over, it was over and cleaned up. You know.
Yeah, I went down there to get some interviews, and then I got a little. I gotta admit, I got mad at myself because I was getting sucked into it. It was they at first it was light, and then they started having a lot of fun, and I started having
Oh
fun,
yeah.
and I look at myself, I'm like, man, you're having too much fun at a Dodgers parade. So when I was leaving, I got real pissed at the train, and I started screaming. I was like, man, when the Eagles won, they opened this up for everybody, and it was free. You guys are gonna charge me for that? I was screaming. I was trying to make up for the fact that I got sucked in the parade.
That's hilarious.
It was
Yeah,
fun.
I mean, the night the night the Dodgers won, I was like walking around downtown a little bit just to see, just to be among the people, and it was definitely it was festive, and I was back inside before it got like real crazy, so I wasn't out past like 11 or 12 o'clock, like 11 o'clock, but because I heard when all the real crazy stuff started happening was like after midnight,
Mm.
but because I've been out in the streets both nights when the Phillies won in '08 and then when the Eagles won the Super Bowl in '17, and those two nights are definitely still untouched, um, as far as just sheer wildness and like debauchery and all that shit. But no, good for the Dodgers. They bought a World Series. They stacked their team. So
Yeah, their team is ridiculous. I don't want to even talk Dodgers anymore. But last question before I go is do you think the Sixers make the playoffs this year?
I mean, they should. I mean, it's still early enough in the year where like if you can get everyone back, they got to start winning a couple games, man. Like it's just bad. I mean, now Maxi's about to be out for a few weeks.
Oh
So
God.
now it's just all on Paul George to get us a couple wins. And then Embiid is back in 2 games. So once we have Embiid and Paul George playing, I think they'll at least get a few more wins under their belt. It depends. They should make the playoffs. There's no reason they shouldn't make the playoffs, but they look so terrible right now. It's
It's
hard to
bad.
even talk about them in playoffs in the same sentence because they look fucking terrible.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really fucking
And
bad.
to be honest, I think the Sixers are because you know me, like I used to be like the most optimistic Sixers fan.
Yeah.
Uh, the last 2 years have kind of eroded a lot of that for me. So I don't have real high expectations for them this year.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see,
I
man.
definitely feel you there. I definitely feel you there. All right. Well,
And
I
the
think that's a
Phillies,
good.
Phillies. I was gonna say the Phillies have kind of just moved into that territory for me too.
You
Even
think?
though
No, man. No, don't say that.
they're just like the Sixers, bro.
I can't. I just can't get there yet. With the Phillies are like they are so fucking stacked. It's just like I can't give up on that. Like the talent they have on that team is insane.
No, man.
Listen, they break my heart every year, but it's just like I feel like Bryce Harper came here. They couldn't even make the playoffs, and dude has just been grinding it out, grinding it out, grinding it out, and they slowly get a little closer. And I know
he
last year was
has
awful, but I think he'll
he has
eventually get us one. I think he'll get us one.
Bryce has definitely turned the culture around for the Phillies,
Yeah.
but I don't know, man. It's like they do things weirdly. Like they have Schwarber leading off. They do things unconventionally, and then when you need them to the most, that shit just fails, and it looks so ridiculous when it's
Yeah.
failing because it's unconventional. It's like when the James Harden Rockets missed like 30 straight threes in that game against the Warriors, and it was just
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, see, I told you can't win like this, even though they had been winning like that the whole time. But
I'll tell you.
I
I'll
don't know.
tell you what though.
I
This
hope
year
I'm
was
wrong
bad.
about.
What are you saying?
I hope I'm wrong about the Phillies, but
Yeah.
I mean, like this year the Phillies basically started choking like 2 weeks before the All Star break.
Mm.
If you look at what our record was a month before the All Star break, we damn near had like 50 wins already, and we didn't finish the year with 100 wins.
Yeah, that's a
Like
good point.
they basically choked their lead away. I mean, not basically, they did. They had like an 8 or 9 game lead on everyone in the National League, and then don't even finish as the 1 seed. So, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's crazy. I got to be honest though. Last year hurt more than I was prepared for this year because of last year. Like last year
Yeah.
hurt so bad. I was like, I'm not gonna get too fixated on World Series because I know this team. I think this could fall apart again. So I went in kind of
That's kind of like it. Last year was like, wow, what the fuck just happened? And this
yeah.
year for me was like, oh yeah, they're losers. Kind of like with the Sixers, like when we lost to Atlanta, you know, when Ben Simmons infamously passed up that dunk,
Mm,
that was like that to me was like the Phillies last year. Like it
yeah.
was just like what the fuck, like what the fuck just happened, right? And then anything after that has just been like, oh, this is like what to expect from this team.
Mm.
So
You know, it's funny you brought that up with Ben Simmons. Yesterday, I was thinking about the year before that, and I was thinking, you know, what if you keep that squad together, that Jimmy Butler squad? You
oh,
think
the
that
team
would?
that lost on the Kawhi shot.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a tough one too. Obviously,
yeah,
I don't know, man. I think it would have been interesting to see if you could have kept Jimmy Butler, not re-signed Tobias Harris to that crazy contract that we're just getting from underneath of. I don't know, man.
yeah. You think Ben Simmons got a raw deal, or you think he just sucked, or he's just got something wrong with him?
No, I don't feel bad for him at all. It's something wrong with him. He's a head case.
Yeah, I don't. That's one of the
I
weirdest
mean,
things I've seen.
you know, he's a human being, mental health. But, you know, I get it. It's important. But like, bro, you play a game for a living. This dude
Yeah,
has made like easily has made like $300 million between his NBA contracts and endorsements and stuff. And all he had to do was learn how to shoot the ball, and he
mm.
refused out of pure arrogance. I can never feel bad for somebody like that. I'm sorry.
Is he even playing right now? I don't pay attention to him at all. Like, is he even getting any time?
I think he plays. He's just like another dude in the league.
Damn.
He plays for Brooklyn, but he's on a max contract, so it's like he's another dude who's making max contract money. So
Damn, he's still got his max deal.
still on the deal that we signed him to. It's
Fuck.
towards the end of it. It's towards the
God
end of it.
damn.
But
What a
yeah,
lucky son of a bitch.
you know what I'm saying?
Fuck. God damn.
Ben Simmons.
Ben fucking Simmons. That was supposed to be the next LeBron James.
Yep. It's so funny whenever someone says someone's the next LeBron because it's just like you people don't understand what LeBron is.
Yeah.
Y'all don't get it.
People don't
People compare
understand that
people compare
LeBron was a
they compare
phenomenon.
Luca to LeBron. They compare Luca to LeBron. And it's like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
first of all, I mean, obviously the athleticism aside and the defense aside, it's not even about that. It's about like the you know, LeBron gets a bad rap for like being mentally weak, which I don't think he is at all.
No way. There's no
No,
way.
when people talk about him not having a killer instinct and all that kind of shit, but it's
Yeah, I
like,
don't.
bro, this dude's like the perfect basketball player. He makes the right play every play. Yeah, sometimes you want him to be a little more selfish, but that's just not who he is.
Yeah, and just look at his life. Look at his life, man. People don't. People that weren't, you know, around or paying attention back then or whatever, they don't realize LeBron was a phenom in high school. Like when he was in high
Right.
school, he was one of the most talked about athletes in the world. And the fact that he came into the NBA and was able to live up to that hype and is like still going, and it's like, come on, dude, that you can't
Yeah.
compare nobody, man.
Nope. And it's like just because a dude is 6'9", 6'10", and fast doesn't mean he's LeBron. Like it's just like, bro, there's so much more to it than that. Just from like a basketball standpoint and like just the decisions he makes on the court and how he plays the game. It's like, come on. Like, what are we talking about?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, well, listen, I think that's a good spot to end it. End it on the
Cool.
GOAT, LeBron James. And I just want to thank everyone for tuning in this week. Thank you for joining us for another episode. We got a big podcast planned for you this weekend. It's not sports related, but it's definitely Philly related. Any last words from you, Malcolm, before you go?
I don't think so. Thanks for having me, and look forward to joining you next time.
Hell yeah, man. And if you can you just stick it out with me for a couple minutes after I end this so this John can upload? Uh,
Yep.
all right, audience. I will see you next time tomorrow. We got a big show coming tomorrow. So thank you again, Malcolm. And let's hope the Eagles fucking bring home a win. Let's not fuck around. Let's win these
Yep.
next two. Let's really set it fucking straight. Get on the
Wish the
nice,
Sixers
nice
could get a
path.
win tonight too against the Lakers.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get the Sixers on the fucking board for Christ's sakes.
30 piece from Paul George, man.
Yeah, Paul George. Let's get it, Paul George. Come on. I know that's a tough task, but we
Yeah.
need something. Um, all right, everybody. Until next time. Thank you again, Malcolm. Peace.